Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Mawaya. If you're new here, welcome. We're glad to have you. I am your spiritual theorizer here to assist you on your human condition by implementing self-love techniques, bringing more self-love into your space so that you can cultivate the world that you have been longing to cultivate. So welcome back. The lighting, I'm trying to use some natural light, so we're just gonna rock with it, see how it goes, see how it goes. But hopefully y'all can see me. Worst case, we can switch it up. Blah 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 blah. All right. So today I want to talk about self-love. Now, it's February, the love month, and it's, of course, 2022, so that 222 energy floating around. And it's a beautiful thing. I feel like the energy feels very light, it feels very easy, it feels very flowing compared to the past couple years. Like this year definitely feels like something that is conducive to relationships. But I'm talking to those out there that have been on this self-love journey, that has been, really dedicated to, or even just interested in it. And I want to break down this idea of self-love, okay? So self-love has become a mantra, a concept, a construct. And a lot of people who are new on this self-love journey, they need a little bit of guidance. I feel like you guys need a little bit of guidance as far as like, there is an idea of what self-love is, but what is it really that can actually transform your life? And so, like everything, there's levels to this, right? There's levels to self-love. There's levels to it. So on the surface level, on level one, we have self-love on the surface. So that's your, I'm gonna go out. I'm gonna take a mental health day. I'm gonna treat myself to my favorite restaurant. I'm gonna go and watch a movie. I'm gonna do the top level surface things. It's gonna make me feel good today. It's gonna make me feel like I'm taking care of myself. I'm gonna make sure I eat healthy. I'm gonna make sure that I'll get my nails done, treat myself, go take a vacation, plan for a vacation. Handle my health insurance. These are what I mean by surface level. They are what you can physically see as a manifestation of self-love. Taking a goddess bath, turning your phone on silent. And those are great ways to bring in a sense of I care about myself, to bring in a sense of I'm going to take the time to take care of myself. It's so important. And so those are things that feel like are normal. People understand what that is, taking a self-care day, treating yourself. So that's level one. Then you have a deeper level of self-love. So this is where that mental health really comes into play. This is where you love yourself enough to set boundaries, to speak your truth, to cut off toxic relationships, to work on relationships that you feel that you would like to work on, you feel like is necessary and you would love to keep in your life. Making sure that you state your needs, making sure you give to yourself and fulfill your needs. If you want to hear more about self-fulfilling and fulfilling your own needs, I just dropped my podcast. My first episode is on fulfilling your needs. So everywhere you get your podcasts, look up Soul Uninhibited. Your girl is speaking to y'all. Another way to connect to me. But so fulfilling your needs on a deeper level is also a way to bring in self-love. That mental health piece is so important, and I love that we are now able to speak about that freely. It is normal to take a mental health day. When somebody says I need alone time, like, it's not something that's like concerning. It's like, yes, get your alone time, please, because I'm about to do the same. So now we ain't gotta talk to each other. We ain't gotta talk to each other. So it's, that's like that level 2 self-love, cultivation. All right, my dog just jumped out of nowhere. All right, so yes, bringing in that mental health piece is so important. Bringing in that physical piece, so working out, taking care of your body, doing things that need to be done in order to better yourself. And with this level 2 of self-love, with this level 2 awareness of self-love, this is where that discipline comes in. Because self-love, setting boundaries, working out, eating healthy, speaking your truth, working in relationships, that is work. That is sometimes often work that's not fun. It's work that's necessary. So self-love is not all about hearts and rainbows and treat yourself, That's lovely, right? But it is also work and conscientious effort. And that's where you start to get into those deeper layers, because a lot of people are not able to break that concrete. They're not able to break down and get deeper into their self-love journey. And that's why you're here, right? I want to help you as your spiritual theorizer. Let's get into these thoughts. Let's get into, like, what does this actually mean? What is this concept? Let us take it from the abstract and bring it down into the practical. So it takes work. It takes integrity. It takes knowing what you value. And that being your guidance system on what you should work on, what you should become disciplined in. And because you love yourself as an act of self-love, that mature adult side of you that knows better has to take control. And it can't let you go into your indulgences, your coping mechanisms, and your techniques. It can't let you go back into your toxic cycles, because these are things that are going to perpetuate self-hate, self-loathing, depression, and things of that nature. So your mature self knows this. So it's going to be the one that's guiding you through this self-love journey. Okay? If you want to know more about the coping techniques and how we end up in our self-deprivation states and our low mental states, definitely check out my video, Insanity Loops, where I break down why we are stuck in life. So that is level 2 of self-love. Now I'm going to go even deeper. There's a third level of self-love that very few people touch. And you can see this because of the state of the world, the judgment, the hate, the evil, the scammy, the things that we do against ourselves and each other, is because most of us have not tapped into this third layer of self-love. And this is fully appreciating your authenticity, uniqueness, essence. Now, a lot of people would like to feel like they're on this authenticity journey. Maybe they dress differently, they do their hair differently, they have a sense of identity around the hobbies that they are into and things like that. But a lot of times people, most of us are in a space where we are doing things because we feel like it's what we're supposed to be doing. And I definitely want to take the spiritual community, because I'm going to call us out, call y'all out, call us all out when it comes to the spiritual community, because we have a huge responsibility to guide people correctly. So the spiritual community oftentimes takes what looks like self-love. I'm going to get my crystals, I'm going to align my chakras, I'm going to, meditate. And these things we're doing because we're supposed to do it. But it's something that might not necessarily be authentic to us. And there is a fine line between cultivating new habits because they will be beneficial to us, and then doing things because you think you're supposed to be doing it. So, for example, when we're talking about Black women going natural, we think that if we go into our spirituality, that's how we're supposed to look. There's a certain look, there's a certain look, and what you'll find is sometimes that look of spirituality is not who you are. You might be deeply spiritual, but the way you present yourself, the way you look, may not look like the conventional spiritual person. There's some people who have to take the left-hand path of spirituality, which it looks on the surface like it's scary, it's dark. It is some, it is something that is, that looks like it's Satanism and all that stuff, the goth look and everything like that. But really, if we give it a chance, it is something that is another aspect of spirituality. And so we tend to go towards things that we think we're supposed to do, and we forget that actually who we are. So owning that authenticity, owning your essence. So how do we do this? This comes with appreciating uniqueness. And a lot of times our practices have to start from within and then go without. But in this case, this is going to make it easy for you. This is going to go from without to within. And so, how to love yourself more deeply. When you look at somebody, this is a practice. So when you look at somebody that, you have, say they come across your feed. Let's see, you're scrolling through Instagram or TikTok or whatever. And it's somebody who, and we're going to talk about physical appearance, all right? So this is somebody who looks like somebody that you don't like, something about them that you don't like or doesn't sit well with you. Instead of automatically dismissing them as like, all right, like whatever, really take a moment to look at them. Look at their facial features, look at what they're wearing, look at how they present themselves, how they talk. Whatever is irking you about that person or turns you off about that person, look at it. And then I want you to start to train your brain to say like, thank you for being how you are supposed to look. Thank you for looking the way that you're supposed to look and not the way that I prefer you to look. Thank you for being unique. And, or, these are just different ways of thinking about it. Thank you for being your authentic self. Even if we don't know that they're being authentic. But in this case, that whatever they're presenting, we're just going to take it at face value. So thank you for being your authentic self. And that looks completely different from me. Thank you for providing the space to be who you are so I can be who I am. And you keep saying these things every time you happen upon a stranger, somebody that you care about, even, and then eventually to yourself. But when you look at a stranger or somebody that you care about and you automatically want to judge negatively, it's take a moment and instead of judging something, make space for it. And when you do this, you make space for yourself. So when you look in the mirror, instead of nitpicking at your face or at your body or at your hair or at your clothes, it's like, thank you for being unique. I don't have to look like the standard. Whatever standard is in my mind that I'm holding everybody else to, because I judge them if they don't look like this standard that I find approving or appealing. I don't have to keep myself in that same judgment. I can allow myself the space to be how I'm presented in the world instead of trying to reach this level that I will never reach because it's a judgment, it's not reality. So you begin to feel that in yourself. You begin to give that space to yourself. Now I'm going to take this an even step further in level 3. You have your past, your present, and your future. How do we love these 3 parts of ourselves? Well, one, if you are on the spiritual journey, you've definitely heard of your inner child, your past. This child is easy to love. And if you haven't started that inner child love journey, we'll make a video about that. Definitely let me know in the comments where you are in these phases of self-love. But generally speaking, your inner child is the easiest to love because children are easy to love. And we're not talking about those badass kids. Even they are easy to love because they're innocent, they're children, they're being guided and molded, so children are easy to love. You wouldn't look at a child and say like, even if they made a mistake, you wouldn't say like, oh, you're not worthy to be loved. You would never say that to a child. You know that children deserve love, and they don't even have to do anything to deserve love. They literally exist. They're born into this world, and they deserve all the love that they can possibly ever get. And that's easy to say. There's no resistance. If you have resistance to looking at a baby or a toddler or a young child, usually I would say about till about elementary school, before they lose their innocence in people's minds. So we can explore that topic too. Like, when do children actually lose innocence in our minds? So, but for the most part, you will. There's no child that you would look at and be like, you don't deserve love, or you deserve a shitty life. You wouldn't say that. So, finding your inner child, it's easy to reach back into that space and give it all the love that it's craving. To look at it as a child and love on it as if as the adult that you are, as the adult that you wanted to have loved on you when you were that age. So loving your past self is a good start. So start that today. Start loving on your inner self, your inner child, loving on that little baby, toddler, elementary, middle school, high schooler, student inside of yourself that got left behind years ago, and love on it and provide it what it needs. The next piece, which is your present self, I'm gonna come back to that because that's the crux, right? So we'll come back to that. Your future self. Now, this type of love comes from really owning your authenticity and knowing where you're going. So we're talking about your future self. What are your goals, your plans for your life? Do you feel comfortable with those goals? Are you constantly looking for validation for somebody to say, yeah, you should pursue that? So that's where that love comes in. How do you love your future self? You love your future self by appreciating the path that you're on, understanding where you're going, trying to figure that out. So even if you don't know where you're going, putting towards the effort of figuring out who you are, and maybe planning a long-term goal for yourself. Where do you see yourself tomorrow? Where do you see yourself in the next 30 minutes? Where do you see yourself in 5, 10, 20, 30 years? Some people, have a hard time planning out the future, and I understand that. So how do you cultivate self-love in your future so that you keep going? Because you are important. You watching this video, we're connecting. Know that you are important. I know that you are important. I'm gonna tell you that you are important. We need you. We need you. And so just keep going down that path and start to think about little things that you want to bring into your future. What is something that you've always wanted to do? Is it something that fuels you? Is it something that feels good to you? What are some of the hobbies that you do in your free time? Even if it is just scrolling on Instagram and that's like the highlight of your day. What are you gaining from that? Dive into that. Love that about yourself. Love that you can continue to do that into the future. So loving your future self is all about understanding where you're going in life. In this moment, in the next moment, the next moment, the next second, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. And now the tricky part, the trickiest part of them all. Loving your present self. How do we do this? And I've been on, so I'll let y'all know a little secret. I might release this audio. I keep little voice memos where I have my insights, my downloads. So I might release this to y'all of when I actually tapped into my present moment love. This was something that I knew, I intuitively sensed, because the way that I practice my spirituality it's more of a clairsentience type of process for me. So what I'm feeling internally, and I felt that there was a gap. As I'm reflecting, I'm like, I love my past self. Like, I love my inner child so freaking much that it makes me want to cry. It makes me want to do my little happy dance. Even think about it now, it's like I love my inner child. She deserves the world. She deserves everything, all the love, all good things. And I love my future self. I have some idea where I'm going, and I know that I'm capable of continuing that journey. I have gained enough strength inside myself by going through different things in my past that I will continue on. So I love the path I'm on. I can see a future for myself, and that took work. That took a lot of work. I have been I know you can't say certain words. I've been suicidal before, if I could say it like that. I've thought about it, so just being real, and I couldn't see beyond, it's just exhausting. This life can be very exhausting. And I'm at a place where I have something to look forward to. And that was work, that was effort, that was determination, that was believing in something beyond my current circumstances. So that present moment, I felt that there was a gap. Still, somewhere inside of me, there was a gap. There was still a disconnect. And the disconnect was that I was not loving myself right now. Like now. Like now. Like right now, I wasn't loving myself. I was still trying to hustle to get to that future self. Or I'm spending time in the past loving on my past self. Or I'm just ruminating about the past in general. Recent past, from a few years ago. Things like that. Like I'm stuck in one of those two places. And even when I got present and being mindful and being in breathing and like, all right, I'm here right now. What does it feel like? I still wasn't loving myself. I still was doing that as a technique to bypass myself. And it's so subtle. These techniques are so subtle. And so how did I tap into the love in that moment of myself? Anything that you learn from me is going to be on an energetic level. So if you're interested in that, let me know. But this is how I process for myself, my self-love journey. So once I realized that there was a gap in between myself, I always breathe deeply into my stomach just to relax my nervous system, to relax the resistance in my body, because there's obviously resistance inside of myself, which is why that gap exists. It's like a magnet, two sides of the same magnet pushing each other away. That's how it felt. And so I breathe deeply a few times just to relax my nervous system, just to relax my resistance. And then I bring all of my energy into my body. That's another concept. So I'm going to try to explain this the best that I can. All right, y'all. So as luck will have it, of course, the latter half of this video did not get recorded, the audio at least. So I'm going to do a voiceover for you lovely humans out there. So as I was saying, I take my energy back inside myself. The energy is very subtle. So this is a practice, and I've been doing this for a while. I've been doing this for years now. So I am able to tell the difference between when my energy is leaking outside of me and when I'm able to pull my energy back into me. Energetic practice. And so I pull my energy back inside of myself, and I do it specifically in my heart space. And what this does is that it, first of all, gives me energy, but it allows my internal world to feel love, because your energy, your essence, is naturally love. So once I have my energy back into my body, I breathe deeply so as to release any further resistance, because you will have resistance as your energy comes back into your body. It's not used to having your full attention. Your attention is usually split. Even if you're in the present moment, your attention is usually on your breath or on, some type of noise or something like that. It's not on you as your essence, if that makes sense. So then I start to tell myself, once I've released the resistance, I start to tell myself different mantras. I am okay. I am enough. All is right with the world. I am love. I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. I'm okay right now. It's okay to be here. And you just keep breathing that in. You keep saying your mantras, your self-love mantras, and you're speaking to yourself right now. Now, this will not be a smooth process the first time. It's, like I said, a practice. So what you may find when you do this the first time is that you will feel resistance. You will feel resistance, one, to that energy coming back inside yourself. You're going to feel resistance to the words that you use. You're going to feel resistance because you're tapping now into all the energy that has been low level. Now that your full attention and awareness is inside of yourself, on yourself, you're going to start to feel the subtle anxieties that you've been having all day, the sadness that you've been having all day, everything that's been under the surface level that usually comes out in dreams and through our skin. Things that we can, it's no longer in our conscious mind, but it's on an energetic level, part of our energetic signature. And you're going to start to feel those things. So you're going to have to work through every layer that comes up. But that is the self-love process. That is loving yourself in the moment. And you can do it, and it takes time. So now you may be wondering, well, when does this actually work? When do I know that I have, I'm starting to change, I'm starting to love myself? Now, if you go look back at the video and you see how excited I felt about my inner child, the love that I have for my inner child, that needs to be the same feeling that you have, or that I have, for my present self. So as you begin to love on your inner child and you really get to a space where you thoroughly, unconditionally love that inner child of yours, you need to feel that same way about yourself right now. So if you don't feel that same way about yourself right now, meaning that you deserve the world, that you're worthy, that you are loved, that you are loved, that you are enough, that all you have to do is just be, and that is enough. If you don't feel that way right now in the present moment, then that's how you measure it. And this is a lifelong journey. So as things change about your present self, you get to work at it again. You get to a deeper level of love for yourself. But all in all, you should feel that exact same way you feel about your inner child as yourself. Because after all, what is the difference between you now and when you were a child? Why are you now not worthy of all your heart's desires? Why are you now not worthy of love? Why do you withhold love from yourself? You wouldn't withhold love for a child. If you're a decent human being, most people consciously would not withhold love from a child. So why would you withhold love from yourself? Why don't you deserve the life that you want? If you want it, you deserve it, right? It's something that you want. It may look differently. It may not look 100% how you pictured in your mind, but that feeling that you're searching for, that fulfillment that you're searching for, you are so worthy of that. So you are no different from your inner child. So again, begin to cultivate that love for yourself in that space, in the inner child space. Feel what it feels like to love you as that child. And then you can take that feeling into the present. You can take that feeling into the future. And you should feel that same way about yourself in all levels and layers and times of yourself. And that is the goal. And it takes time. All right, y'all. I love y'all. Love yourself. I will see you in the next video. Happy journeying. You have, the physical things that we call self-love. My dog, y'all. You okay? All right. So on the surface level, on level 1, we have the physical Please. All right. On level one, on level one, we have self love on the surface. So that's your, I'm gonna go out.